Hey everybody, it's Andrew from HoneyCart, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to set up our Square POS integration so that you can use Square as your credit card processor and also have your HoneyCart orders get synced over to Square. And then I'll also go over some of the nuances and limitations about the integration. And so let's just get to it. So first thing you want to do is go to your settings. And then scroll down to the integration section and click on Square. And you want to click on Authorize. And it's going to expect you to be logged into your Square account, or it's going to ask you to log in at some point. So anyways, just click on Allow. And you're going to see here, there's some a warning and stuff like that. Here it says, please specify Square location. So click on that. You're going to see all the locations associated with your Square account get populated. So I have like a DC location, a Fairfax location. I'm just going to choose my catering orders location. Click on Save. And you're also going to notice this yellow notice. And it's explaining here that there are limitations in what HoneyCart, it's our typical features when we're using Square. And so basically Square is meant to be a general POS for all kinds of industries. And HoneyCart is meant to be specifically for drop-off catering, so that basically everything HoneyCart can do out of the box, Square can't match that. So in that case, we can't give you all the same functionality if you're going to be using Square as your payment processor, and if you expect the orders to get synced over to Square. So basically you're going to have to click on this link and it'll show you, it's a Google Doc that explains in detail what some of these limitations are. For example, you won't see an order get synced over to Square until it's 100% paid for. What does that mean? So people that have been using HoneyCart for a long time know that you can take deposits or like do partial charges on the credit card. Like maybe you just want to charge a 10% deposit when the order is placed, or you like to charge a 50% deposit or whatever. You can't really do that with the Square integration. Square wants the order to be 100% paid before it'll show up in Square. So even if like an order gets placed a month in advance before the event and you don't charge them until the day before, that order is not going to show up in Square until when you charge them the day before. So you're going to have to keep that in mind. And if you go through the doc, you see other things like Square won't allow changes to an order that's already paid for. So let's say you charge the order completely, it's completely paid for, and then you go over to Square and it's the order is synced over to Square. If a customer calls you back and says, I need to add more food or I need to remove more food, and you do that in HoneyCart, it's not going to sync those changes over to Square, just so you know. So you need to be careful on when you charge the customer if you expect to always see an accurate representation in Square. Or if you have, in the nature of your customers and your business, you tend to get a lot of changes leading up to the event that's going to affect the total. You're going to want to delay, or at least consider delaying those charges until closer to the event. I know some of you guys do that, but some of you guys prefer to charge the entire amount as soon as the order is placed. I already discussed this one. Even with refunds, like I'm not gonna go read through everything, but we just tried to list out every possible thing here so you guys understand what you're getting into. HoneyCart has a corporate account feature which lets you send one bill or invoice for several orders that's placed by like a house account, right? The thing with Square is they only want one payment for one order. So I can't do what HoneyCart's doing. Square won't let you do what HoneyCart lets you do, which is have one payment to pay for multiple orders. So for that reason, you can only use cash or check, or Stripe credit card processing if you're doing corporate account invoices. And anything that's a Stripe paid with Stripe credit card processing or with cash or check won't be able to sync to Square. And then here's what I discussed earlier, where if you're going to do the automated credit card charges that charge people the entire amount up front, just beware that if you do that, any changes they make later on leading up to their event won't be able to get synced over to Square. And it's also a pain in the butt. Like if they add more and you need to charge them another $100 or so, you're not going to be able to charge that on the original order. You're actually going to have to create a separate order. So it's actually a real pain in the butt. That's one thing that sucks about the Square integration. Again, that's not our fault. We didn't make it in a way that didn't make sense. We had to, make do with what Square gave us the ability to do. In their world, they don't expect you to come back and, like, if I go buy a latte at the coffee shop or at the farmer's market, they don't expect someone to come back and say, let me add more coffees to my original order. They would just ring you up a second time. And for that reason, like in the world of catering, that's a lot different, right? It's no problem if someone wants to add a couple of more pans of lasagna to the thing. You're more than happy to take the business, and you're going to put that on the original order. So just keep that in mind. Just read this doc, keep that in mind. Now I'm going to go back and show you the next step. So now that we set this, you want to go back to the main settings and go back to the store settings and go to payment settings and make sure you set your credit card processor to be Square. We give you the option to use Stripe or Square. A lot of people prior to this Square integration are using Stripe because that's the only credit card processor we had. For you guys, so long as you still have Stripe connected under the integration, you're going to be able to still ring up people that were already submitted a Stripe credit card. You can still ring them up in Stripe, but all new customers and all new orders moving forward where people have to re-enter their credit card is going to go under Square if you choose the credit card processor to be Square. Lastly, want to make sure that I assume you want your customers to pay in credit card when they place the order for themselves. So just make sure credit card is checked off here and then click save. Right. So let's go through and show you what, if I create an order, I'm going to show you what the payment looks like. 1 second. So here I created an order. You're going to notice this if you're familiar with HoneyCart. You're going to start to see that there's a lot more of these yellow messages warning you about these Square limitations that are in this Google Doc. We did that just to remind, not everybody's going to remember all the time. We try to show you these messages so that you don't get confused on like, why don't I see it in Square yet? So we try to make it obvious out here and give you a good explanation on why you're not going to see the order in Square until it's paid for. So let's go pay for it. So when you go to payments and then you find this order and you click on collect payment, it's going to put it on the Stripe, on the Square credit card here. It's going to become paid for. If you want to look at, for example, now, let me see, I'll find my order. This is the order, right? You're going to see a new option here that says view Square info. It's going to show you that the order was synced over to Square and that the payment was synced over to Square. You're going to see these Square IDs. So if I go over to my Square dashboard and I look under orders, you're going to see right here, I believe this is the one for these wings. You're going to see that my delivery fee is going to appear as a line item here instead of a line item down here, which is what HoneyCart does. We had to do that just to make the integration work. So then there's going to be the payment information here. So that's that. If you ever need to refund it, you can do that just like you would have if you were using Stripe. So I can go here and I can do refund like that. whatever. You hit refund, it's going to show up in Square. And so that's about it. If you have any questions, please let us know at support@gethoneycart.com. Thanks.